Our Issues Birmingham. Today's guest is Frank Brocato, the mayor of the city of Hoover. Frank, welcome to our show.
Good morning, Tommy. Thank you for having me.
You've been on before, I know, and of course we have a relationship going back to grammar school practically, as far as I can recall. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you as mayor of Hoover. The city of Hoover has been a bit in the news lately, and I would like for you to talk briefly about the state of the city, and it is specifically addressing those things that have brought it to the news front, and that sort of spills into some other specific topics, but just generally speaking, what is the state of the city?
Actually, we're doing well, very well, considering a number of events that have taken place over the past couple of years, really. We have a tremendous amount of building going on in our city. Lots of new businesses are moving here. New homes being built, as I said. And, what's really kind of fun to watch in the city of Hoover are the new restaurants, and not necessarily chains, but mom and pop restaurants, these neighborhood types of restaurants. We're really becoming a foodie town, so to speak, and I know the city of Birmingham has that reputation as well. But we're getting the variety of cuisine here is really amazing, from Thai to Italian to Pakistani the range is enormous. So
I don't think people think
really great things going on that end, and a lot of great things going on in terms of just people wanting to move to our city.
Are you having a population increase during, say, the last 10 years, you believe? Or at least during your tenure?
Yeah, we've had an increase in population over the last 10 years. It'll be interesting to see. Of course, the census is this year, and it will be interesting to see what our true numbers are. I think we're going to be very close to 90,000. We may exceed that. So very important that all of our folks participate in the census so we do get our numbers up, because so many of your federal dollars, your gas tax dollars, all of those, so many things are tied to your population.
Are you getting a lot of help from, with respect to what's going on pandemically, are you getting help from the state of Alabama, from our governor's office?
The governor's been very good. She's been very easy to work with. There's a big pot of money that the federal government put out there for the states, and Alabama got about $1.8 billion. And that money, it's been a little confusion about how it can be distributed. Early on, it was the rules were pretty tight, and it had to be COVID related. Well, you talk to all of the mayors throughout the state of Alabama, if you divided that money up evenly and applied it to COVID only, in other words, like face masks, gloves, cleaning materials, and there's certainly some other things that I hadn't thought about. You just couldn't use that money up. It's just not enough of that type of activity to use that money up. So there's been a big push for that money to be applied to help us with, say, for public safety, because we've lost all of these revenue dollars, these tax dollars, and that's what pays the salaries of our employees. So we've worked with our federal folks, our senators and our congressmen, to see if they can get those rules loosened a bit, because that's the only way we're going to really benefit from those dollars, if we can apply it and put it into our treasury and start paying some of our expenses that are ongoing and have been under attack because of COVID and the loss of revenue there. Does that make sense?
Yes. Is that happening? Are you getting the relief that you need?
Yes. We're moving in the right direction. We're seeing some loosening up. Of course, with the federal government, there are always some hurdles that you have to jump through.
I cannot even imagine.
Jefferson County was able to get their allotment right off the bat, because it applied to states, and then it applied to municipalities and counties that were over 500,000. Well, the only county in the state, there were no cities that fell in that category. Jefferson County was the only county that fell in that category, so they got their money. They've already received a direct share of their money, and then they've been very good to work with us to support us on sharing that money to take care of the various COVID issue related things that we've been able to present to them. So they're good to work with. But here's the problem. We have about 6% of our city is in Jefferson County. 40% is in Shelby County. So we're losing those dollars. We're losing that population. So we'll have to work basically with two different entities. Jefferson County for Jefferson County Hoover, state of Alabama, or Shelby County Hoover.
Is there a distinction in Hoover between the Bessemer cutoff, or is that all part of Jefferson County?
Yeah, not in terms of COVID money. That's more of a registration.
I know there is. Yeah, I know
type of
that.
thing.
But I'm talking in terms of the money. The money
Yeah.
comes to Jefferson County, includes Bessemer and the Birmingham division.
Right. That's not affected.
Well, I had no idea that predominantly Hoover was in Shelby County and not Jefferson. So you have 45% Shelby County?
Now, about 60% Hoover, Jefferson.
Oh, 60.
About 40% Hoover, Shelby. Maybe I flipped it
Well,
around.
I think it's because of the Zoom universe. I thought you said 6. So I knew that number had to be off base, but
Yeah.
that makes more sense. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about some more specific things. This is Our Issues Birmingham. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Mayor Brocato. Welcome back to Our Issues Birmingham. I'm talking with Mayor Frank Brocato, the city of Hoover. I think the city of Hoover is the 6th largest city in the state of Alabama. Is that right?
That is correct.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I remember when. I guess that means we're getting old. So
Yeah, we both do.
It's not a secret, and I think we would be remiss if we didn't bring up the Galleria, which
Sure.
is a long-standing mall in the city of Hoover that has been the object of a lot of discussion relatively to events that have gone on there.
Right.
You know, malls in general, at least I've been led to believe, are taking a hit across the country in terms of loss of revenues and loss of foot traffic. The events that have occurred at the Galleria, which are magnified, I am certain have had an effect on their ability to generate tax revenue for the city of Hoover. What steps are being taken by the city of Hoover to give the citizens who want to shop there comfort level when going there?
Well, you're right. There have been some horrific incidents, although very few, that we take 2 or 3 steps forward, and you have an incident like that pushes us back 4 or 5 steps. So we're doing everything that we can to be proactive there. The Galleria is extremely safe. The city of Hoover is extremely safe. 2018, record low crime statistics. 2019, even better. But think about this. Some 6 million vehicles come onto that campus every year. 6 million. That probably equates to 7 or 8 million individuals. So a lot of activity. People come. It's the only place that you can go in Alabama that's a beautiful mall like that, where it's cool in the summer and warm in the winter, and it's a very pleasant experience. And a lot of people shop there and enjoy it, and then these incidents occur that, again, push us back. So what we've done, you know, you can throw policemen at a situation like this and just covered up. You can do a lot, things like that. And we have done a lot of that. There's security there. We have police officers there. We've actually moved one of our divisions down there. They report to work at the River Chase Galleria now. So that has increased the number of police cars that are coming through. Of course, the officers are there. They can walk through the mall. They eat there. They do their reports there, things like that. And there's some other measures that we will take along the way. You may have read where they introduced these Labrador, these little dogs that they can detect gunpowder. And they do it in a very, in a way that you really don't know they're there.
Unassuming.
I mean, you may see them walking by and all that, but they're not going up and, so to speak, sniffing and things like that. But they are able to
like an airport.
A trail.
Like an airport.
Yeah. And so we are trying to approach the problem, certainly with having police officers there. That's important, and we're doing that. But we're trying to attack that problem with technology. And that's something that is working. We already see it having some impact in terms of detecting individuals that are bringing firearms into the Galleria. You're not supposed to bring a firearm into the Galleria, legal or illegal. And so,
and that's posted, I suppose.
We also are working with a company, Tommy, that can actually take a video and see if a person is carrying a gun. The technology it's been out there a while. I don't know why it hasn't been refined, but we do have somebody working on that, trying to refine it. And I'm excited if it works. I see applications for schools and airports and theaters, just a lot of different places. So we're working on that. The camera system upgraded tremendously. Had a lot to do with us solving that horrible incident on July 3rd, happened on July the 3rd. Our police pretty much had that thing solved by the 5th. And it was due in part to the fact that they have great video. And so they were able to see that whole thing, so to speak, unfold. And they've done a lot of things in terms of controlling both of the parking decks. Just, things like that has a presence and will make people feel more comfortable when they enter that environment.
Are you telling me that there's like a substation inside of the Galleria as we speak?
Yeah, it is. It's a substation, and so police officers can come in there and do their reports. But even more importantly, we have an entire group of officers that report there every day, and then they go out to different parts of the city, the Galleria itself being one of the areas they patrol. So it brings more of a presence there.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention what is most apparent to most people, and that is the protests that go on occasion in the city of Hoover.
Yeah.
How tolerant are people of peaceful protest? I'm not talking about violent protest, but
yeah,
I trust the instruction comes from the top down.
Well, let me say, we make every effort to protect the rights of peaceful protesters. I mean, there are a lot of issues in our country that people protest over, and certainly we protect that. What we don't tolerate and what is occurring here that hasn't occurred, I've heard it talked about how in Mountain Brook and Vestavia and Homewood, they've had no arrest. That's because they've had no attempts to break the law over there. There's a group of protesters that embeds themselves with the peaceful protesters, and they come here specifically to get arrested. And we do everything that we can to prevent that. We talk with them, we meet with them. We have, when they do cross the line, we ask them to step back, but we just can't afford to let people run into the middle of Highway 31 and disrupt traffic. It's dangerous for them. It's dangerous for our police officers. And it's unfair to someone driving down 31 that, may be totally not paying attention. I mean, we all get in those in those zones, so to speak, when we're driving, and to have someone dart or several people dart out in front of you, it would ruin not only the person's life that gets hit, but that poor person that happens to hit them. I mean, look, let's face it, we don't even allow parades. We just don't allow anything on Highway 31. It's too hard to monitor. So we're not going to allow protesters to run into the street like that.
And it's certainly unfair to the peaceful protesters
It is.
as well.
It is. They are getting lumped in with those protesters that want to be disruptive and want to cause injury to our police officers. We tolerate the foul language. We tolerate the screaming. Our police officers do. But we can't tolerate destruction of property, trying to run into the Highway 31, getting outside the parameters of where the protest should occur. And we can't tolerate people throwing bottles of urine or water at our police officers. We're not going to stand for that. We have to have civil order in our city, and we're going to continue to make sure that we have civil order. And we're going to make sure that people have an opportunity to protest peacefully as well.
Thank you. Very good point you've made there. Very balanced and covering both sides of the issue. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back and wrap up with some questions about the opening of schools and perhaps COVID and how Hoover's dealing with it. This is Our Issues Birmingham. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Our Issues Birmingham. Mayor Frank Brocato, City of Hoover, is speaking with us today. We appreciate your candor. The issues relative to COVID-19 and what it's doing not just to your city, our city in general, the greater Birmingham metropolitan area, the counties that get our signal from this TV program, which are 6 or 7 going north, south, east, and west. What is Hoover doing, first of all, in general, to stop the spread, participate in the stop of the spread, encourage the stop of the spread, and we'll get into the school issue as a side of that.
Well, I like to set an example, so I carry my mask around my neck so I won't forget one, and I utilize it. I'm following the Jefferson County health orders. If I can't social distance, if I'm outside and I can't social distance, I wear my mask. But I wear my mask pretty much all the time anyway.
But you have
I'm finding that to be the case throughout our city. We're having really good results in terms of people going into our businesses and wearing their mask. And you'll see posted on every business that you can't enter. They're doing a good job with that. So I think people are taking it serious. I think we all can't wait until we get to the end, and doing things like this will help us get to the end and of course, the vaccine. In terms of the schools are going back. I told you earlier, my daughter and my daughter-in-law, they have the dates circled and they're ready to send their kids back to school. And I think a lot of people feel that way. Certainly, they want to make sure that it's safe. Our school board and Dr. Murphy, they do a tremendous job. They put a lot of effort, research. They touch base and gathered information from many, many different resources to help them come to the decision of when they're going to open, how they're going to open. And of course, there'll be options out there. Some will choose to go virtual. Some will choose to go into the classroom. So we're doing everything that we can, when I say we, the City of Hoover, to support our schools and support Dr. Murphy and the school board in their decisions. And at the end of the day, I believe that they will make the best decisions based on the good information that they're gathering from all the experts out there.
Not only do you have a background as a fireman, as I think chief at one point, but I know there was a time when you were a paramedic, so you have medical background as well, at least to that degree. Uh, are there specific statistics available to you relative to COVID in the city of Hoover? Are you
Well, you can,
a piece
yes,
of the county?
you can go on Jefferson County, on the county's website, the health department, and it will show you the hot spots in the city. And we get a, we get a report of COVID patients. And certainly what we, the biggest reason we want to know about it is for our first responders. So that if they go into that area, into that home, into that long-term facility, or nursing homes, things like that, that they can be dressed up properly in their personal protective equipment, making sure they have gloves. Of course, Tommy, we've been doing universal precautions for, gosh, 20 or 25 years, where we gloved up and wore masks and things of that nature. So it's not really that new what our folks are doing, but that's what's really important to us, to make sure that our first responders have the equipment and the knowledge of where those cases are.
Well, we appreciate you being with us and sharing your background and knowledge with us. I know it's been a busy time for you, and I just want to thank you again. This is Our Issues Birmingham. We'll see you next week.